Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. Welcome to the business lecture. I mean, that's it.
Thank you.
On this channel, there is no hidden product placements, Amazon links, great straps to sell, and we do not plan to make you a gentleman. If you're not one, you will never become one.
Hi guys, it's ArchieLuxury. ArchieLuxury on the ArchieLuxury and the Paul Pluto channel. Guys, I want to talk today, before I start this, let's do a quick wristwatch check. I'm wearing the Rolex Air King. Because I invented wristwatch checks. I'm wearing an Air King, man. Today, I want to talk about the compromise wristwatch. That's right, the compromise wristwatch. And this is something that I experienced many years ago when I was, just a junior pontiff. I wanted to get exciting content on the channel. So what did I do? I bought a number of compromises. And let me go through and tell you how it ended there. So basically, one of the compromises I bought was a two-tone Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. Two-tone Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. And this was actually a box papers example. It was 33 mil, but it wore a bit bigger. It was kind of like a 35 mil. It was very thin, and it featured an Audemars Piguet quartz movement. And I got it very cheap. I actually got it from Vintage Watch Co. from Ronnie, my good friend Ronnie. He gave it to me very cheap. And I always liked that watch. It was two-tone, but normally on Rolex, when they do two-tone, the crown is actually in gold, but on AP, the crown was steel, which I thought was very understated. And I gotta tell you, it was a watch I bought because it was fucking cheap. Audemars Piguet, Audemars Piguet is a very heavy hitting brand. But I gotta be completely honest with you, it was a compromise. I bought it because it was cheap. It was fucking 33 mil and it was fucking quartz. Two very toxic things. I enjoyed it. It was my first Royal Oak. But it developed actually a problem. It developed a problem where the crown, the threading became a bit fucked. And, it's one of these things. The problem with these very expensive brands is often if you need parts, you got to send it in for a service, and you could have easily spent more than I paid for the fucking watch to start with. So you've got a danger of over-capitalizing. If you're not careful, you could very easily over-capitalize on this piece, and what's the point of that? You put too much money into it, you'll never get that fucking money back again. You got to be careful. Sometimes in these watches here, you got to be careful you don't over-capitalize on a piece. And that was a classic example. I bought it very cheap. I think I paid about $1,800 Aussie for it. And I think I sold it for about 2.5, but I added a box to it. I had it polished and serviced. It was a real complicated piece itself there. So I was the other thing is too, it was very complicated. Like to get into the back, you had to come through the front. I think from memory. It was just complicated. Everything was fucking difficult. And as I say that, I ended up flicking it on eBay. It had the threading. It was very short, and the guy said, look, my watchmaker said to me, there's no way you can get a replacement tube. You're going to have to send it for a service. He said, if I were you, get rid of the fucking thing whilst it's still working. So I sold it as is on Fleabay. Another compromise I had was when I had my white gold Calatrava. That was the 5107. I had the Vacheron Constantine. That was my beautiful. I love that watch. That was a the Vacheron Constantine. It was a Vacheron. Sorry, it was a Vacheron and Constantine, because it was from the 1960. They later became Vacheron Constantine. Absolutely beautiful piece. And then I wanted to have a trilogy. I bought a manual wind Audemars Piguet. And, you know, it's one of these things. I bought that. It was cheap. I bought it off Fleabay. And it was okay. But I should have probably, instead of buying the cheapest example I could find, I would have been much better to have got a much better example. And that's kind of the moral of the story. It was very small, 33 mil, 32, 33 mil, very small, very ultra thin. I think it had been over polished. It had a wee smidgen of water damage on the side of the dial. And was it look, it wasn't a shit watch. It wasn't a shit watch, but the whole reason I bought it was because it was cheap. I wanted to complete the Holy Trinity, AP, PP, VC, and it was always pissed me off that it was never perfect. It was never perfect. It was always a compromise. And, you know, it's just like, that's how it is. When you buy something that's a compromise, it's never what you bought it because it was cheap. And I got to tell you, I sold it. I remember I managed to get a pouch, AP service pouch for it, a vintage one. I got it polished, serviced. It came up okay, but what I should have done is, instead of buying the cheapest fucking one, I should have got the best, the best one. That would have been the way to go there. It's sort of it's silly if you constantly buy the cheapest. And this is the whole thing. Another time when I got a Royal Oak, I had this was an automatic. I decided, fuck it. I got rid of those two APs and I thought, fuck it. I want to get a Royal Oak, a 14790, which is the classic sort of Royal Oak. I got that, and it also was a compromise. Instead of spending a bit extra and getting a 15300, which was the model at the time, which has appreciated fantastically, it's really the one you want to have. I ended up buying this compromise AP, and what happened with that? Well, it was just fucking stupid. I was very silly to do that. I wanted, it's one of these things, it's like someone who wants a Mercedes Benz, and they're the first one that comes up, that's reasonably priced, they pull the trigger. If they would have waited a bit longer, and they'd get a much better one for the same money. This was the silly thing about it. And again, that was a very much a compromise. I ended up getting really fucking badly burnt on that piece because it developed a fucking problem where developed this problem that the watch would stop just before midnight at the date change. It was fucking annoying. And I sent it to 2 watchmakers. They each charged me $250 to service the fucking thing. And they said, oh, it needs parts. And it was fucking annoying. I had to send it to AP. And then the service bill was $2,500 because that was with optional polishing, and they replaced the hands and just a few things like that. I ended up selling it, which was another stupid thing because it actually, believe it or not, for as much as I hated it, it's actually gone up a lot. And I sold it. I lost thousands of dollars. I lost thousands of dollars, which is fucking painful. fucking painful. But let me give you the drum there. It is fucking painful. It hurts when you lose money like that. Believe you me, it fucking hurts. And I kind of how do you put it? It was stupidity. It was stupidity on my part. I was looking, if I would have said, right, let's get a better, a newer 15300, I'd have a watch that had some fantastic appreciation, much better piece, better size, a modern day classic. Instead, I went for a fucking compromise, and I never really lived it down. I never really lived this fucking thing down, and that is fucking annoying. It's very annoying, but you know, this is, you live and you learn. You sort of myself with watches, I've now gone into getting things I really love. My World Time, that was I remember when they came out in 2000. That's not a compromise. That was a beautiful piece. I still think that's probably the most collectible out of the modern. When I say modern, they made the World Time in the 60s. That was the last sort of series before the modern era, which came out in 2000. I think the 5110 is probably got the best guilloche. It's got the best font for the countries. It is a wee bit small at 36, but 37 mil. It's a wee bit, but it is a dress watch. And if Clivers can pull off a fucking 36 mil Aquanaut as a sports watch, I can pull off a fucking 37 mil dress watch. So more than happy with that. The other watch I bought, which is not a compromise, is my two-tone Daytona. That's just fucking beautiful. I remember the first time I saw that with the Maserati blue dial, I just said, fuck! It's gorgeous. Absolutely fucking gorgeous. And I've got a lot of watches now which are just not compromises. I just pay the fucking money and be done with it. Yeah. That's kind of how I go now. I kind of like Rolex. I've invested heavily where Rolex is there's no compromise. You either pay the money or you fuck off. That's simple as that. But compromise wristwatches, my advice is pay the bit more and don't get something you want, not something that's cheap. Cheapness always bites you in the ass. So yeah, bit of that's been my case there. I'm Paul Plitter, the method actor who plays ArchieLuxury. Tell me what you think. Have you compromised on your wristwatches? Have you compromised? Tell me what you think. Like, subscribe, tell your fuckhead friends, and don't forget to put a few nasty comments below. I'm Paul Plitter. Tell me what you fuckers think of that. Bye. fuckers!